A little quick chat on what, when did it start? When did the Mandela effects start? Um, what are they? What's causing them? Like the big questions. A lot of people say, it might be CERN, might be D-Wave computer, maybe um, divine intervention. But I'm seriously under the impression, under the thoughts that shifting is part of physical reality. We've been lied to, and it's been suppressed from us. Um, we've been doing this throughout time, and I think it's just to create motion and time. I think itself. I think that's what we do. We shift every nanosecond. We're even probably quicker than that. And CERN and the D wave may be manipulating the shifts with the Hadron Collider. They may be doing forced shifts, forced mass shifts. These are just theories, coining more phrases, doesn't matter. Use them if you like. But I do feel like shifting or the Mandela effects or quantum shifting is part of physical reality. Whether they want credit for the Mandela effects or they're just experimenting, they just don't care about nothing. And mass forced shifts make sense to me because that's, each September, maybe there's something about the dates too and the timing on it. And that's funny because I just watched a video about time, and if it wasn't for days and if it wasn't for the clock, and that's another thing, I thought about that. I had a lot of the experiences with the stars and the orbs and other things going on then in 15. I had nothing to do. I didn't have to worry about time. That reminds me, that back in 15, there was, it was a time when I didn't have to worry about being anywhere. I didn't have to worry about time at all. What day it was, it did not matter. And I remember going through it not knowing what day it was. The only thing I knew is it was light and dark, and if I was tired, I'd sleep. If I was hungry, I'd eat. If you're not tethered to time, you're going to experience more. If you're not tethered to the electronics, you're going to experience more. If you're not eating meat, you're going to experience more. Just theories based on experience. This is a good one here. Shame I won't be able to get it up for another couple weeks. I'm under the impression that Fiona Broome coined the phrase the Mandela effect in late 2009 or 2010 at a Dragon Con convention. I joined the site in 2015. Yes, I remember Nelson Mandela's funeral. I was walking by the TV. I recall the Clintons being there, but I didn't see the guy in the casket. I didn't know who he was. I didn't see him then. I didn't know him. I don't know if he actually died or was actually in that casket, or if he was and they just brought another guy around. There's too much going on to say it's physical. There's definitely something supernatural, metaphysical about this. But the quantum shifts were happening before Mandela died. See, I am under the impression that we have been doing this our whole existence, that that's how we create time, motion. Now it's happening more often. People are noticing it. Your consciousness is just shifting into another timeline. Can that be controlled? Probably. Is it being controlled? Probably.
Deja vu right now. Extreme.
It is truly a different experience just watching other people's videos, seeing their perspectives, their ideas, wanting to comment, wanting to push in my 2 cents. And I don't always. There's some channels that I'm like, wow, I don't think I ever commented on this channel before, and I do it purposefully. And of course there's the normal ones where I always make a comment, even if it's just, hey, yo, how you doing? It is 434 mountaintop. And where I'm located, that's AM. You know, I can see the light coming around. I can see where and it's probably happening exactly how it's supposed to happen. But I had this thought that, I noticed watching a lot of videos, a lot of the flat earth community, a lot of them are now saying that we're not a spinning ball flying through space, and I like that. It's probably flat. It's probably a dish and closed in a dome. A lot of the flat earth people, not just saying that, but are saying things are changing. They're noticing attitudes from other people changing. From my perspective, they're changing. Just their attitudes. I've just noticed stuff like that, just watching, and it's brief. It's not like a whole video on the topic. But the idea for me is they're noticing changes. Now, if you want to take the physical outlook on things, you go to Flat Earth, and that is a physical way to experience the changes. If you go metaphysical, it's the Mandela effect. It's like a lot of things the Flat Earth people suggest. I want to jump right into, well, you shifted into a timeline where it's this way, and it almost sounds not a scapegoat, but it sounds like just an answer to everything. Having some interesting thoughts about the difference between, I guess, the flat Earth information, Mandela effect, or physical information, and metaphysical. If we're really in a computer simulation, then do we have any control? Are we pushed into certain things? Are we led certain places? I mean, look.
People have been talking about the synchronicity in numbers. Seeing 111, 222, 1212. I've been seeing 1234. Well, just recently, I've been seeing a lot of 000 in the strangest places, and a lot of times it's letters. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for that. I don't know what that's
I mean, it was a process, discovering Mandela effects, not sure what to think of them, discovering flat Earth, really having to look into that to realize we're not flying on a spinning ball. I mean, nothing seems real. So I've been out there and talking with people that I normally don't talk with or whatever. I've been out there and I noticed something. I might notice Mandela effects. I might notice a shift, but since my consciousness is the only one that matters, I don't make too much of a big deal out of it. I just take note of it. And I contemplate, I wonder, did I just shift? Is this something I missed and I shifted 3 weeks ago? Is this something that happened during that last shift? I mean, I only bring them up when other people say something. I went into O'Reilly, I almost said it. I went into O'Reilly Auto today and was talking to the girl behind the counter, and the other guy goes, "Yeah, it used to be O'Reilly's. I don't remember when it changed." These people work there. And I started to go through the whole thing, and the other girl was, "Yeah, I've been into the Mandela effect. What's your site's name and all this?" And she started arguing with my buddy who was there, going, "He's just crazy." And she's going, "He's not crazy. There's millions of us. He's not crazy." I was like, "Yeah." If somebody mentions, "Hey, I think I might have mentioned it on one of these videos, but a girl at the bar said." She said something about peanut butter and jelly, and I said, "What peanut butter do you buy?" And she said, "Jiffy."
There are infinite possibilities to the future. It's always been there.
But it doesn't really matter because I just shift away from that negativity. Is it really happening? Who knows?
Yeah, I keep thinking back, and I'm thinking of different things. Those 3-4 days, I mean, I was in a fog. It was thick. That was what the video was going to be about. It reminded me of walking into that cigar shop. But, you know, I was in it for a while before I actually made that connection, and I thought, wow, this is weird. But it did feel thicker and different. Don't think I shifted back to anything, because even that timeline would be different as it moved on, as far as theories go. But everything is so close. The timelines are so close. That's why we're able to interact. It's part of it. It's got to be part of it. And I was watching some really great this thing. O.D. Deesman's got this live flat Earth information thing going up, and I was watching that for a couple hours, and just really great information. Just when I happened to check it out, you know, I was like, wow. And, you know, I like that they call it the Earth is not a globe at some point. I mean, yeah, you're going to use the term flat Earth because that's what everybody's using. That's what everybody knows. It's just like the Mandela effect. You're shifting, your consciousness is shifting through different timelines. And that's all different. That could all be different terminologies too. You could use different words for that. I mean, who really knows? I mean, I have theories. I love my theories, but it don't mean they're right. But I love sharing the experiences here. I feel like how many times. Yeah, and I want to mention I was watching Jeranism live. Wasn't live when I was watching it. It was number 4. I was in tears. I love his. It's not quite dry sense of humor, but it's close. And just I was just having a ball with that. I'm getting to watch a lot more, not being able to post.
Every once in a while, almost every time I walk into this supermarket, I feel like I'm walking through a time loop or something.
I happen to mention that McDonald's changed for me probably late 70s. I said late 70s, early 80s, but it was probably 78, 79. It was MAC Donald's. And when that came out on the Mandela Effect site, I never, I got on, I said, yeah, I kind of remember something, I think. I don't even recall. I may not have even commented because I wanted to be 100% sure. And just being on the site when I read that thread, I guess I wasn't comfortable enough to say, yeah, which is kind of strange because I was saying yeah to other things. But that was one, I guess it was strange because the MC just looks so modern. I'll use that word. The MC looks very modern to me.
It's like me saying, oh, this song by Ram Jam, never existed for me, or...
Then in 2016, the earth shifted beneath our feet.
1987, 1988, probably 88, where I was laying in the backyard where I lived. I was married. And just looking up at the stars, and I believed at the time that I witnessed a supernova. Because what I saw was a star get real big and then disappear. Didn't come at me the way they did in 2015. Still, I have to laugh because I'm out looking at the stars now. And I mean, look, we've been told that they were billions of miles away. That's why when we look at them, we think, oh, it's a sun and it's billions of miles away. And with the experiences that I've had, they're not suns with planets revolving around them, and I've come to feel that. But, I'm thinking, we see them, we look at them, and we perceive them as being 3,000-4,000 miles away. But I'm starting to think they're a lot closer than that. I'm starting to think they are right here. And, That's just what we see. That's just what we perceive. And SMQ made some very good points that, as far as this community growing, it's got to be outside of just YouTube and the media that it's in, Reddit and YouTube. Um, People are going to remember the Berenstein Bears, not who found that first, or not who the biggest poster was on YouTube. I mean, yeah, I guess it's nice, Hey, I get a kick out of it if somebody mentions my name and says, "Yeah, I got this information from Suso," and I'm like, "Oh, cool." When I was watching the Flat Earth ODD stuff, they were bringing up the moon landings. May have switched over to Jeranism, talking about the moon landings, but they were talking about how important it was. Yeah, we know what it was. It was Jaron. He said you can't, something like to the effect that you can't really stop there. Why did we fake the moon landings? Because everybody kind of gets that. So okay, why did you fake it? Well, possibly the race to the space and all that. And, but he was right in a lot of things he said. Why are you stopping there? And he said made me realize the importance of why they're lying, why they've lied, why they continue to lie. They're never going to admit to anything. NASA's never going to, I don't know, they admit to stuff all the time and people aren't listening. People don't care. They're so indoctrinated. NASA could come out and say, yep, the earth is flat. We were just kidding. And half the people still would believe we lived on a ball. Is that? Look, I don't know what happened those 4 days, but if I shifted, it was different. It would have been something I had to get used to. There would have been things I had to get used to. And a lot of that would have been people. I just got to get it out. But the spiritual side, that's where I lost track. Look, if you can shift into a timeline where flat Earth is more acceptable, more people kind of know it. They accept it. They know it's all a game, and the people that are sitting in their houses watching TV are just, it's like another race. I could see something like that happening. I really got to stop saying stuff like, hey, the town I live in, I'm like, yeah, people come here, and, every single person I've met that comes to this town has some kind of story where, yeah, I almost died. The star experience, the orb experience, the impalement, the Ford symbol changed with the cigar shop. All that was in Colorado, very close to Denver. And then I moved to Mississippi, and I'm right on the Gulf Coast. And then I was getting conversations that didn't take place. I was waking up with phone numbers that I didn't know for 30, 35 years. Characters in movies were staring at me through the screen while they were saying their dialogue. The experiences are a little different, but I think every experience on every level could have been some sort of shifting in and out of timelines. All those, that's what I keep beating around the bush here. What's more important, that we are being deceived of the shape of the planet, outer space, what's truly beyond our boundaries. Because if we're on a ball, where are we going to go? We don't own our own spaceship, so because we're not going to go out into space. So if we're on a ball, we're kind of confined. If we're on a flat disk and there's more land on this barrier, South Pole, humans are inquisitive, and we eventually we're going to go. I don't care how much of it's in your perception. If we're being deceived and lied to, It's got to stop, but they're never going to admit it. It's just got to be a movement that grows. It's got to be people that are willing to go out and investigate on their own and not be led around. That's important. There is an importance there. But if you knew how to shift your consciousness into other timelines, I've heard other people talking about September 23rd in particular. But I think it's the gateway's probably bigger in that respect. So I was trying to get at what's more important. At first, Mandela effects and flat Earth. Flat Earth really grabbed me because that was something that was physical. I didn't buy it at first at all. And then through a process, I slowly realized you're not going to prove to me it's a ball. These people absolutely they're on to something. They're on to something big. You're not going to prove to me it's flat. You're not going to prove to me it's a ball. I think it shifts, it changes, it's malleable. But guess what? You're not going to prove that to me either. That's just my theory. So listen to Vladimir Valerian back in the late 80s, 90s. But he was talking 2012, 2013, 14. We'll be instantly manifesting fruit right in our hand. Guess what? I'm betting anything that's where his dominant consciousness is, where that's actually going on, because he believed it. He was focusing on it. That's probably where he is. And if he died in your timeline, you know what? He didn't die in his timeline, so it doesn't really matter. Dominant consciousness. I coined that. I said that first time. I haven't heard it anywhere. I said it, so I'll say I coined it. I don't know. I don't care. I hope people go and use it. Because to me, and I would say only use it if you believe there's other timelines branching off from your every decision. Because the one that you're focusing on, to me, would be your dominant consciousness. Because I'm not posting as much. Of course, I had a discussion with a fellow on one of the comment sections about. He's like, "Well, where did you get this term dominant consciousness? I want to know." And I said, "Well, I guess I coined it because I really didn't think about it. I guess I coined it, And I tried to explain what I meant by it as best I could. Instead of going through all that every time, I'm saying dominant consciousness. And you can't just make stuff up. Don't you see what you're doing? You can't just make stuff up." And I'm like, well, how else do I say, where your consciousness is the one you should be focusing on, not all the ones branching off. So I guess the conclusion of what's more important is, both of them. Because no matter where you shift, you're still living in a physical reality. Well, at least right now. I'm getting the impression that there are people not close to me now that are away from me, that I am nuttier, and it's expected. So I was going over some of the old videos, the last 3 big videos I put out, and watching the part where the 2 girls at the bar were talking to me about takeaway food, and I get that that's an English term, so we say takeout here, and they say takeaway. I was thinking about that, and I'm like, well, the one's got 2 kids, a family, the husband, the whole bit. And the other one's, got her schooling going on, and they got things to take care of, bills and whatnot. And they're aware of everything I speak about. I tell them everything. I'm always hitting them with new Mandela effects, even if I don't agree with them, just to see what they say. I've totally, not on purpose, I've totally implanted this stuff in their heads. I mean, and they get it, and they, hey, that must have been another timeline kind of thing. They're always saying that. But they're actually thinking about it during the day, but besides that, they got kids to take care of. They got bills to pay, mortgages to pay. They ain't got time to worry about shifting into other timelines. And I get it, but wow, I mean that's just the way it's going to be for most people until we're able to actually control the shifts or stop a mass shift or control your own shift. That would be my thing. Because if there are force mass shifts going on, yeah, do we want to go along with it or do we want to stay where we're at? I mean, it's really an individual choice.
First time I bought a newspaper, and I don't know. I don't even know if I ever did buy a newspaper. Able to buy a copy of the newspaper article for everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and
link the article I found online. It's the same one, and I'm pretty shocked at some of the stuff that's in it. But
hi, baby girl, yeah. I just noticed this. I'm looking at this. I mean, a lot of in the Mandela effect, a lot of the letters have been merging. And looks like AAT, or maybe HAT. It's just strange. And I'm looking through the rest of this thing. I don't see any letters merging on here anywhere. And hey, is that a connection? Flat Earth and the Mandela effect? I'm just kidding, but who knows? Yeah, you like that?
For a couple of years now, everybody has been concentrating on the shape of the planet, outer space, are we in a dome, the South Pole, the North Pole. What if our attention is supposed to be on what's underneath? I am truly under the impression that the Mandela effects, when we notice a shift, it is a signpost, it is a clue that there has been a shift. And the quantum shifts, when you're conscious, it is also, under my opinion, my experience, so these are my theories, that your consciousness shifts through timelines, and that's how we create motion, time. It's how we live. That's our life. That's what we do. And wherever our focus is, that's where we're going to shift. We are creating our next moment. And I think this is natural. This is a natural process that we just do naturally to exist. So when we notice a mass shift, see, I'm under the impression that death could be a catalyst to noticing Mandela effects, to shifting in your consciousness into another timeline where you didn't die. So when there's a mass shift, like for me, it would have been those possible volcano eruptions back in 15. A lot of people started noticing things. That would, to me, that would cause Mandela effects for a mass group of people. And I've also been thinking that if the scientists in CERN understand all this, that they could be causing force shifts, which would be mass force shifts. Why they're doing it or what their intentions are, I'm not sure, but they could be, whatever they're doing, CERN could be causing these mass shifts. So it's my goal to find out what was going on around June of 2017. Because I think there was a shift, but it could also have been natural. And September could, like I said, September's could be some sort of gateway. Just thoughts on that. I mean, CERN could be doing us a favor by showing us, hey, this is how life really is. And like I said, it could also be a natural thing. But the mass shifting, I would think, is either forced, artificial, or a mass death.
What it is, I mean, boredom. When you're bored, what do? We entertain our minds. So